It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is Crazy Licks from their new Religion release with 21 Till I Die. That's what Chris is doing. He's reliving his 21-year-old experiences.
I am working my way through it.
Yeah. Time moving backwards for Chris.
Getting it done, man. Like I said, I've got like 6.5 years left. I got to do this stuff now.
Is that the countdown?
Yeah, well, I'll be 49 in October.
Holy shit.
I've got till 55.
That's the cutoff point, right?
55 is when I'm going to drop dead.
Really? It's predestined, predetermined.
It is.
Okay.
How do you want to die? What is and you can't say in my sleep. You have to die in a way that you actually have to watch the lights go out.
You got to watch the lights go out.
You got to watch the lights go out. How do you want to do it?
Boy, that's a tough one. Well, you don't want to die of some kind of catastrophic disease, you know, and just basically just suffer out the last, year or two of your life or something, or right. and definitely I would hate to be a dementia patient, because it's like after that point, what's the point in existing anymore?
Of course you wouldn't know.
Well, of course you wouldn't know, but I mean, what's the point? Yeah. You just become a hemorrhoid on the ass of progress. You're just sucking up resources just because, your physical being is still breathing.
How about a horrific car accident where your head is lopped off?
Well, do you see that coming?
Well, you'd see it coming, but you probably wouldn't feel much of it.
Sure.
How about somebody shoot you in the back of the head?
That's pretty instantaneous. But again, I thought your criteria was where you see the lights go out.
Okay, so somebody shoot you in the face.
Well, yeah, it's like the Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. When he walks into the room and he realizes he was, oh no, and that's the last thing you hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing is if you watch it, the last thought you're ever going to have is fear. If you watch it coming, no matter how, if you just know your fucking heart's going to stop, the last thought you're going to have is fear.
Sure.
So you got to think, what is the quickest amount of fear ever?
Right.
And I would think, surprise, somebody pulls a gun and shoots you in the head.
I suppose so.
Be like less than 1 second.
Right.
Go out like Harry Chapin.
Well, Harry Chapin had a horrific way out.
That's like the worst possible way out.
Yeah, he went out just like one of his horrific songs.
Yeah, he burned to death and in a car wreck?
He apparently was on the Long Island Freeway.
Yeah.
Driving a Volkswagen Rabbit. Apparently suffered a heart attack. Mm-hmm. Lost control of the car, went across the median into oncoming traffic,
right.
Ran into a gasoline truck and blew up.
Oh, jeez. That's a lot of bad all at once.
Yeah, a lot of chain reaction.
Yeah. What would be your worst fear? The worst way in your eyes?
The worst way to go?
Yeah. Want me to give mine while you think about it?
No, I think for me, even ones that I've had concerns of, which I've told you before, are having a heart attack.
Why would that be the worst one?
Well, because if it isn't one of those instantaneous ones where you basically just drop dead,
yeah,
and you basically suffer the pangs of a heart attack until within either minutes. Mm-hmm. Or even an hour, you finally succumb to it.
For me, it would be falling from someplace really fucking high.
Oh, yeah?
Like those guys that jumped out the World Trade Center.
Sure. Well, it's not the fall that kills you. It's the sudden stop.
Yeah, it's a sudden stop, but I mean, you just know it's coming.
Sure.
I mean, don't you think that when you're falling like that and you're thinking about, man, this is going to fucking hurt.
Right.
You're like trying to position yourself so you don't land on your head necessarily or on your legs because you don't want them to be driven up off your body.
Yeah, seriously.
So you're trying to think, okay, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to do it flat. Do I do it on my back? Do I do it on my face? What?
Do you do a face plant?
Yeah, I mean, ugh. That just seems like the worst.
Yeah, because you have seconds or,
Yeah,
less than a minute to think about it.
but you still have time. That minute must seem like an eternity. And then the lights go out.
Right.
Off. Oof, just brutal.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why I came out of this segment with the good music into that, but
right. Or drowning.
Drowning would suck too.
Yeah.
Drowning would just watching yourself fade out. Nothing you could do about it.
Nope.
Can't breathe. You're choking on water.
Sure.
You're like this. How come these fucking fish can do this?
Yeah.
And I'm just about dead. Ugh, that would suck.
Yep.
Fire might not be good either. I can attest to that one.
Yeah. Well, you've lived through that.
Yeah, I can attest to. I'll just state for the record, not looking to go out by fire. I'm hopeful that that's not my last gasp. That could be sucky.
Yeah, they might have to rewrite a chapter in the Bible called Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Chris. For those of you who are not Bible scholars, that'll make no sense to you at all.
Dude, you might have to go back to Call Me Chris and put an addendum. Wouldn't that be a good addendum, though? I mean, it would suck for me, but boy, that could really make my book have some value.
Yeah, it would be. Well, that would be the the goof chapter of the book.
Right, exactly.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Call Me Chris.
There we go.
You're like the fifth Beatle.
Well, hey, if it gets me in the Bible, I'm in.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine me being a character in the Bible. Wow.
It's like the fourth wise man that you never heard about.
Yeah.
He didn't. Everybody, the three wise men brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and the fourth guy brought pudding. That's why you never hear about that guy.
Right. It was rice pudding, for God's sake. Not even like a good chocolate.
Exactly. It wasn't even a good mousse.
In fact, it wasn't really pudding. It was just soggy rice. Shit. They were like, we're not giving this to the king. Throw that shit out. Get out of here.
Right.
Sit, old fuckface.
Take him out of the chapter, will you?
Yeah.
I knew you were writing a book about this, but take that out of the chapter.
Paint some hay where he used to be standing. Get out of here with that shit.
Right. All right. Well, we got some voicemails to get to.
Okay.
Is our lovely Kendall Peters with us tonight?
Let me look here. I do not see the lovely Kendall.
She's not in there?
She is not in there.
Well, she was there earlier, I thought.
She's probably still listening.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's an interesting couple of voicemails here that I thought if she was around, she might.
There she is. She just jumped back.
Oh,
in.
She jumped back in.
Yep.
All right, our superstar Kendall. But anyway, let's play some begging for email.
All right.
It's time for the Classic Metal Show to start begging for email.
What the hell is email?
Death sent me an email.
Well, when you figure it out, email me.
And here's your loser beggars, Neely and Chris.
You've got mail.
We certainly do.
All right.
Apparently, our good friend Jan Patrick from Finland, my countryman, checked in.
Okay.
And he's got some very sharp words of criticism for me, but he also has a question for both of us.
All right.
So here we are.
Hey, Neely, you're a fucking redneck. And this is Jan Patrick from Finland. And sober this time. How can you live with yourself? You're a fucking Trump supporter. And he's a fucking asshole.
All right. So I'm a redneck, and I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Looks like Jan has been tuning into CNN.
Apparently so.
Yeah, because that is the message that they send over there.
Okay.
And I have a question for you. if you would get a threesome with Chris and Veronica Freeman, would you do it? That's an urgent, answer. I think the urgent answer. Fuck you and fuck niggas.
What?
Fuck you and fuck niggers.
Oh my goodness.
So here's the question. Jan wants to know if the opportunity were to arise with having a threesome with you and I and Veronica, would I do it?
Yeah.
Well, I only have really one answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have Veronica to myself, I don't think Chris was really a factor.
Okay.
How about you, Chris?
I'd do it in a minute.
Really?
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. As long as we don't have to fucking do stuff to each other, as long as we can fucking London Bridge her ass, I'm all in.
London Bridge. Nice.
What? You wouldn't do that?
No.
Be too fucking creepy?
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Be too creepy hearing me say my dirty things to her?
Nah, don't. I don't want to be a part of that.
Well,
I'll pass.
I would gladly share that ass with you, Neely.
Oh, no, not doing that. Sorry, that just isn't my scene.
I'd be right there.
All right. Well, Jan, I think he left us a second message.
Okay.
Let's see what he has to say this time.
Hey, Mr. Pimple Wizard, Chris Aiken.
Oh, boy.
This is Jan Patrick from Finland. You look like you got an AIDS when you were fucking all those whores in Korea. How about that? Fuck you.
What? I look like I had AIDS?
It looks like you had AIDS.
Well, maybe I did.
Maybe you found a cure and you weren't aware of it.
Yeah, maybe.
I got to hear that again.
Hey, Mr. Pimple Wizard, Chris Aiken.
That's you, Pinball Wizard.
Oh, you said pinball? I thought you said pimple.
No. He said, hey, Mr. Pinball Wizard, Chris Aiken.
Oh,
That's you.
That's me. All right.
This is Jan Patrick from Finland. You look like you got an AIDS when you were fucking all those whores in Korea. How about that? Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Chris. Fuck you.
Well, luckily, I did not get AIDS
Right.
while I was fucking all those whores.
Yes.
Got lucky with that. I don't know what else to answer with that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yep.
All right. Well, since the people overseas seem to enjoy us so much,
Okay.
our good friend Toby checked in once again.
And I hope Toby does not get his head lopped off for his comments, on their soil on our show.
Right.
I would really hate to hear about that.
Well, this one has some special meaning for one of our CMS faithful.
Okay.
And Toby has a message he would like to convey in verse and rhyme.
Okay.
All right, so here we go.
Hail and kill. This is Toby calling from the Middle East. At the moment, I seem to be going through a prolonged period of listening to the Mentors and El Duce, in between blasts of Anal Cunt and G.G. Allen. I think the sun is still getting to me. Anyway, following on from what I rang in about the other week, the small matter of lovely Ms. Kendle Peters, I wanted to do a little tribute to her, and I thought maybe I would draw a picture with, shall we say, of a salacious nature. However, in the interests of keeping your legal affairs department free from litigious behaviors, I decided to write a poem instead. And Henry Rollins once said that there are many cheap, lousy substitute English teacher poets around, and very few shining stars here and there. He does a nice monologue on it called Death to Poets. So, as I channel Henry Rollins, I'm going to read to you this poem I've written called An Ode to Kendle Peters.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, everybody get their beatnik shades on.
All right.
Get your bongos out.
Yep.
Order up some strong coffee.
Sure.
And this will be like a coffee house review of some new original poetry.
Okay, this sounds good.
All right, here we go.
In the vein of Henry Rollins. Kendle, 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 when will you phone in to Neely and Wendell? Kendle, Kendle Peters, can I be one of your panty eaters, or sniff your dock and shoes? Left or right, which one to choose? You're the master of the moon. I'll make you swoon and shag your pasty arse in a sand dune. Is it too soon? Too soon before sunburn at noon? But no, now is the time, Kendle Peters. You're rooting for Trump. Wear that cap while I fondle your rump and sink my jaws and teeth down beneath your navel, Kendle Peters. Is it an innie, a midi, or an outie? No matter, it will suffice, because with no clothes on, your body's very nice. As I play, Paul Black's LA guns roll the dice and shoot my jizz into a tray where once lay a generous portion of chicken fried rice. I'll be thinking of you, Kendle Peters, on the brink, my libido teeters. And there we are. I think Henry would approve. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, hand job, and oh, Kendle.
What in the fuck is going on with this show? Oh my God.
Fantastic.
Holy shit.
I think the sun really is getting to Toby.
I think so too. My God, every line was great.
It was.
Every fucking line. Now that's a poem.
Yeah.
Haven't heard a poem like that since the Rev sang to Veronica, or what was her name?
Maria?
Miranda.
Miranda.
Was it Miranda?
No, Maria.
Not Maria. I don't remember what her name was. Maybe Maria. I don't know.
Who are we talking about? You mean his ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, Vanessa.
Vanessa, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since Vanessa, we haven't heard. Remember that poem?
Yeah, I remember that.
I did my creative read of it.
Yeah.
The kid crying in the background.
Sure. Well, that was quite the prose.
Let's hear that one more time. Come on.
We can definitely do that one more time.
I need to actually absorb that a little more.
He basically has been studying Kendle for whatever reason.
Yeah, no kidding.
And he gets the whole, the Trump cap and the Dokken reference and the LA guns and, all of that.
I see Kendall right now trying to figure out which one is Toby to block him on Facebook.
Yeah, no more Toby.
Block.
Exactly. All right, here we go.
Rollins. Kendle, 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 when will you phone in to Neely and Wendell? Kendle, Kendle Peters, can I be one of your panty eaters, or sniff your dock and shoes? Left or right, which one to choose? You're the master of the moon. I'll make you swoon and shag your pasty arse in a sand dune. Is it too soon? Too soon before sunburn at noon? But no, now is the time, Kendle Peters. You're rooting for Trump. Wear that cap while I fondle your rump and sink my jaws and teeth down beneath your navel, Kendle Peters. Is it an innie, a midi, or an outie? No matter, it will suffice, because with no clothes on, your body's very nice. As I play, Paul Black's LA guns roll the dice and shoot my jizz into a tray where once lay a generous portion of chicken fried rice. I'll be thinking of you, Kendle Peters, on the brink, my libido teeters. And there we are. I think Henry would approve. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, hand job, and oh, Kendall.
God damn. Wow. I like the tray of fucking chicken fried rice.
Where once lay a chicken fried rice.
Wow.
Yeah, Toby's been away from civilization too long.
He's been staring at way too many camels.
Yep. Too much desert sand and too much heat and sun.
Not that Kendall's a bad-looking girl or anything. She's definitely not, but woof. Come on, Tobes. That's an awful lot of love in a poem for somebody you've never been within, 6,000 miles of.
Yeah. I remember when I first started this show, back in 96.
Yeah.
And I still have, and again, somewhere down the road, if I ever get to a point of being able to share some CMS history, but I used to get letters, handwritten letters.
Right.
From different people all the time.
Okay.
And I still have some. Well, I think I probably have all of them if I'm not mistaken, but I had weird letters from different people all the time who listened to the show.
Okay.
And they would just almost tell me their whole life story.
Wow.
And it was just bizarre.
Dude, you got to dig those out.
I have them. Trust me. I got them. They're in a box. I have them in a box in my closet.
Why aren't we reading those?
Well, because I didn't even think about it until I heard this voicemail the other day.
That has to happen.
Yeah, I got letters from, young girls and, kids and just people, even guys in prison who listened to the show. It was just weird.
Dude, speaking of the prison thing, so did you see Salvatore Pope's post in the chat at the very beginning of the show?
I saw something about a correctional institution or something.
He's the prison librarian at the Eastern Correctional Institute in Maryland.
Okay.
And he has slid into their library my books.
Really?
My books are being read by prisoners.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, is he a employee?
I don't know.
Or is he incarcerated there?
I can't imagine that he's incarcerated and still in the chat room. Can you?
I don't know. I don't know how free these prisons are.
I don't know. He might be a prisoner. I don't know. He might be the next Brooks Hanlon. I don't know. Or wasn't that his name? Brooks from Shawshank?
Mm-hmm.
Brooks Hanlon, Brooks Hadlin.
I don't know, but
he could be. I don't know if he's an employee or if he's a an Oz type employee.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
But he's in there and he's got my books and he's added them to the reading for the prisoner.
That's always interesting.
Yeah. Dude, I wonder if one of my books has like a little rock hammer cut out of it so people that Andy Dufresne can use to tunnel his way out.
Sure.
Could be.
Right. So somebody makes an escape, and then all of a sudden your books end up on the news when they discover the escape route.
Dude, I would love that. I would absolutely. If that happened, you couldn't get me in front of a camera fast enough to talk about it. And I would say all the wrong things that would get me the crazy attention.
Sure.
So crazies would buy my book. I'd be like, man, that's why I published this book, so that some prisoner could escape with it.
Yeah.
That would be my mantra. Something nuts, so that I could get some real press out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Bill O'Reilly talking about what an asshole I am or something.
Yeah, you can more or less say that in a covert manner that one of the chapters that you wrote, that if you read every third word, there's an actual message there about how to escape.
Yeah.
And that if you fold the pages just a certain way, it becomes a trowel.
Right. And they used it.
Yeah.
They dug it out and used it.
Yeah, somehow they deciphered the code in my book.
They got it.
And they got out.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Successfully escaped.
How many books do you think I would sell if that happened?
Oh, it'd be a number one seller because everybody'd want to see what the secret is.
Right? Everybody be buying it and folding all the pages and
whatever.
Yeah,
just to see what was the secret in there.
I'd sell 30,000 copies of the book and still wouldn't be able to draw 8 people at a book signing.
No, not at all. Nobody would want to know that they're the deviants that bought your book.
Right.
I don't want to be identified, but I still think it's pretty cool.
Hey, fine with me. At $9 a book of what I make, I'd love to sell 30,000.
Sure, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. So there you are, Toby creeping out Kendall, and Jan Patrick basically asking if you and I would do a 3-way with Veronica if we had the opportunity, and of course I'm a redneck because I support Trump.
Yeah. You're not going to defend yourself?
No, what's there to defend?
Are you happy about the bombs?
Well, if you want to talk about this, and this is the thing, Jan Patrick is one who is always complaining, don't talk politics.
And then he calls
but he called in and started a political conversation. So let's have this conversation real quick, and I'll give you my thoughts.
You're going to have to, and I'm not saying this to pretend like I'm stupid or something, but you're going to have to tell me what happened. I know they launched some missiles. I have no idea why, because I have literally checked out on politics right now.
Okay. Here I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version of what happened here.
Okay.
As you know, over in Syria, their leader is Assad, right?
Yeah, that guy with a weird face.
Yeah.
A true ferret face.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this guy, he's been in charge over there for quite a while.
Long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. So during the last administration, Obama thought all he had to do was speak the word and Assad would straighten it up.
Okay.
And that's when Obama made the speech about Assad using, poisonous gas against his own people and said, we're not going to tolerate this. We're going to draw a red line in the sand.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, he did nothing.
Did nothing.
Because he was a pussy.
Okay.
So, this past week, here's the thing. Trump more or less ran on one of his platforms, or one of the things that he said during his campaign is that we should stay out of Syria. Just stay out of it.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people agreed with that because Syria is run by Muslims.
Okay.
They're tribal. Mm-hmm. And these people have been fighting amongst themselves for centuries.
Right.
There's nothing we as a civilized society is going to do to draw them into a civilized way of life.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at how well it worked in Iraq. Never mind.
Yeah. So he was right in saying that we should not get involved.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people agreed with that. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, Assad allegedly used poison gas against his people again this past week.
Now, what does that mean, allegedly?
Because they say they have proof, but I don't think that it's been shown in the public light that absolutely 100%.
So we don't have, like, Saddam Hussein video of whatever city that was gassed up? Remember when Saddam Hussein did that? And
yeah.
They had all that video of the people laying dead in the streets?
Yeah, well, this basically has the same thing. These people were laid dead in the streets.
So that would be the proof, no?
Well, they're assuming that Assad is the one who dropped the chemical weapons.
As opposed to who? The neighborhood drug guy?
Well, I mean, it could have been, and not that we know, and again, this is the whole thing, but they're pretty sure that Assad used the poison weapons against his own people like he did, 7-8 years ago.
Now, let me ask this question. And honestly, I'm not trying to be a dumbass here. I just really don't have any clue. Was there something going on in Syria that caused him to... Was there like a big uprising? He said, fuck people and mowed them down?
No, nothing like that. It's just the Syrian rebels.
He just didn't like what they were doing, so he just gassed them out?
More or less.
All right.
So about 100 people died.
Okay.
So... Trump, he's had this, this attitude that, let's stay out of Syria because there's really nothing we can do to reason with or get these people to be, civilized. It's tribal leadership over there, and that's how these people live.
Okay.
Well, supposedly, once he saw the aftermath of these gassing, the spin in the story is that he didn't like what he saw.
All right.
And so without telling the press, without announcing his intentions, because people said, are you going to do anything about this, President? He goes, I have some definite thoughts, but I'm not telling you.
Right.
He says, I'm not going to announce my intentions if I have any.
Right. Okay.
And so they launched 58 Tomahawk missiles and basically bombed the airstrip where the planes that took off that carried the chemical weapons from.
He went back to his WWE roots and opened up a can of whoop ass.
Yeah, more or less. But
all right.
But I think, and as you know, Syria is an ally of Putin, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so he did not get Russia's okay to do this. In fact, he didn't consult with anybody. He just made the decision. He made a very decisive decision. Mm-hmm. We're going to go over there and we're just going to take out their airstrip where these chemical weapons were launched from.
Okay.
Now, this was not, an attack on a city or anything else. It was just a military-to-military attack.
Okay.
But I think, and again, I'm not trying to be a pundit here in any way, shape, or form, but I think it was just a way to say there's a new sheriff in town. A decisive sheriff. We're not like the last guy that was in the White House. We're making decisions, and we're going to do something about it.
So because he sent these missiles, is that why all my lib friends are saying that the world is about to end?
I don't know the answer, but apparently he drew criticisms from the hard right conservatives, but he also drew praise from his least supportive people, especially in the media.
Oh.
The ones who, hate him.
Okay. And they were okay with this?
They seem to say, looks like Trump became president overnight. He launched missiles and he took decisive action.
All right. Well, good.
But since you asked my opinion,
yeah,
I don't want to see us get mixed up over there because of the tribal nature of, the Assad regime in Syria and all that.
Yeah,
but as a
like a play.
Yeah, but as a message to the world and as a message that Trump is not afraid to take a decisive action and just do it. Mm-hmm. I'd like to think that will send a message that I'm not this pussy Obama that was in the White House that said we're drawing a red line in the sand and not do shit.
Right, his red line got blown over with the first gust of wind.
Exactly. So that's it.